If you are into console racing games, you've likely heard of the Forza series. Well, with the launch of Forza Horizon 5, I decided to make a dedicated racing simulator for it. Let's talk about it. This is Steve from Restalgia, and let's get started. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, go down below the video and subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos. I'd like to give a massive shout out to the team over at Xbox and Forza for reaching out to me and offering me an early access copy of Forza Horizon 5 for the Xbox Series X. Additionally, they are going to be sending me one of the new limited edition Forza controllers that I do plan on making a first impressions video of when I receive it, so stay tuned for that. Now, I could have just done a review of the game and shown off the controller, but I really wanted to do something different with this game. And as cool as the controller looks, and even though it is Forza themed, I thought to myself, let's take playing this game to the next level. So I built a dedicated and fully functional Forza Horizon 5 racing simulator. And I'm going to walk you guys through the process and a little bit of the experience that I've had playing Forza Horizon 5 in this form factor. Additionally, I'm going to provide some working files and the blueprints of the build that I've made in the description down below for anybody who's really interested in either making their own or potentially taking what I've done and adjusting it for something that is better suited to them. Then you can go ahead and send it off to a shop like I did for some CNC cutting of all of the panels. Now, this racing cabinet design has gone through quite a few different variations from its inception to what the final product ultimately ended up looking like. Full disclosure here, I'm not a designer and I don't really have any experience in 3D modeling, but that didn't really stop me from attempting. But as you can see from my original design, it isn't really anything special. It was really big, it was bulky, it would have not likely looked like something I would have wanted to show off in a video. That being said, I do have some friends and I reached out to a good buddy of mine, thanks Andy, who completely reworked the design to something that is a little bit more akin to a racing simulator. And as nice as his model was, it really wasn't super practical in terms of comfort or mobility of trying to get in and out of this thing. That said, this was at least a much better base from which we could start working with. From there, I connected with friends of the channel over at buystuffarcades.com, who then took the base files I sent over, modified them a little bit to make them a little bit more practical. And after a bunch of back and forth on design, there was a handful of revisions, we settled on the final shape that you are seeing in this video. Next, they did help with the CNC cutting of the panels and making any of the micro adjustments that needed to be done in order for everything to be built and feel really solid. Additionally, these guys also helped me with the vinyl artwork in terms of getting it printed, and they applied some of them to a couple of the panels, which really helped me out as well. Next, we had to do some artwork design, which was, again, not my forte. I'm not a graphic designer, but I do have some friends who are, so I reached out to a very close friend of mine, Khamla. Thank you for helping out. And he helped me do the graphics, and we kind of went back and forth just the same. We looked at different styles and designs. We ended up going with a red, black, and gray color scheme to match the racing seat that I'd picked out, which we are going to talk about in a few seconds. But overall, the final artwork ended up looking super sharp. And like I said earlier, buystuffarcade.com helped with the printing on that front as well. Now, anyone who has ever used an arcade racing cabinet knows that they are definitely not a one-size-fits-all type of device. You need to be able to adjust the seat depending on your height, because being comfortable while you're playing is super important. I wanted to make sure I stayed true to this, so I got my hands on a used Mazda RX-8 racing seat from a local auto parts yard. It was actually in pretty good shape and it only cost about 75 bucks Canadian, so I immediately went out and grabbed it. Now, the problem that I ran into is that it had all power options and no manual adjustments. Now, that just meant I needed to be a little bit more creative and find a way to supply power to the seats, and after some digging around, I was able to find a wiring diagram, cut up some of the wires, hot wire them, and now it actually works really well. You've got full adjustability, and it doesn't really matter if you are 6'4" or 4'6", you can adjust the seat to your liking, including full lumbar support. For the display, I went with a 32-inch monitor just because I felt like it was the right size for this specific rig, but you could absolutely go bigger if you really wanted to, or you could even add a multi-monitor mount here instead for a more immersive experience. The racing wheel I went with was the Thrustmaster TMX Pro wheel and pedal set with the Thrustmaster TH8A shifter, which were not only 100% plug-and-play compatible with the Xbox Series X, but they were already fully integrated with Forza Horizon 5. And Forza Horizon 5 has a bunch of different racing wheels that are fully compatible, so you don't necessarily need to go with the TMX set. And then finally, the last thing that I wanted to do was make sure that I had a creative way to store the console. And I thought it'd actually be pretty cool on a racing simulator kind of shaped like a car to have a hood compartment that could pop open and you could store all of your electronics and power devices right inside of there. I also added an LED light strip in there just for a little bit of dramatic effect, and the build was complete. We were essentially off to the races. Now, if you are not familiar with the Forza Horizon franchise, then I would actually highly recommend you check it out. Forza Horizon 5 is, in my opinion, arguably one of the best console racing games that has come out to date, bar none. It is the 5th main installment in the Horizon series, and it really is an open world game. The game takes place where you can discover living deserts, lush gardens, historic cities, hidden ruins, pristine beaches, vast canyons, and a towering snow-capped volcano, all while you lead breathtaking expeditions across Mexico's gorgeous, ever-evolving landscape. The game map is 50% larger than that of Forza Horizon 4, covering a massive 107 kilometers squared for players to explore. And they've even included a bunch of new in-game features like the addition of the new Horizon Arcade mode that is a series of mini-games that you can play against other players online. You are also able to use the event lab to create custom games or races, and they even have implemented a new weather system that helps give the driver a really fun experience in differing road conditions. Now, I've been lucky enough to have the opportunity to play through this game over the last week or so. I can honestly say that I'm really enjoying it. Now, although Forza has had a reputation for being a game that is best played with a controller, which may absolutely be true, I personally have really enjoyed playing this game with a steering wheel setup. Force feedback and vibration translates incredibly well, as you can see here with me driving off-road in a vehicle that really wasn't meant for that. Also, the movements on screen with just how much I'm turning the wheel are incredibly accurate. Overall, this is a game I would really suggest you pick up, especially if you're into racing games. Now, you can absolutely purchase to own the game, but if you do have Xbox Game Pass, it is going to be included there as of November 9th. I just want to give another massive shout out to the Xbox and Forza team for providing me early access to the game, and another big shout out to the friends of mine who helped me create this, as well as buystuffarcade.com for helping with the final designs and getting my panels pre-cut for me. As I did mention earlier in the video, all of the blueprints I'm going to make available in the description down below for anybody who wants to recreate what I've done, or you can go ahead and take them and modify them to suit your needs. Links to everything, as I said, will be down below. But that is pretty much all that I've got for you guys in this video. If you enjoyed the project, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a thumbs up, and then turning on all notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. What did you think of this racing build, and what would you have done differently? Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys again real soon.